Do you ever feel like it's hard to reach your opponent? Every time you try land a shot on them, they're just too far away, but somehow they manage to land shots on you with ease. I used to have this exact same problem until I learned this bit of information. So listen up if this is you, yeah? Before we get into it, we need to cover the mistakes that you're probably making when you're getting into range. By the way, join my free school. It's got loads of free boxing courses, 1,500 people there to give you feedback on your boxing footage. The first mistake you're probably making is you're trying to reach the target whilst leaving your feet behind. Right? You're leaning over your front foot like this. You're trying to land shots by leaning forward. Well, that's never going to work because you're bringing your head into range, losing all your stability in your legs, and you're probably still not even landing your shots because they're easy to see coming. Instead, you need to keep your feet underneath you as you're coming forward. So don't leave your feet behind as you're moving forward. The next thing is moving too far in and out of range in between combinations or when your opponent's attacking you. So you might throw some punches, and then as soon as you finish throwing punches, you'll just leap way too far out of range for no reason. That's really inefficient, takes up loads of energy. And the same as going forwards. If you're like jumping into range like super fast, then your opponent's either just going to move out the way, move to the side, or you're going to smother your work as you're going in because you're not going to get. You need to like be on the edge of range to find the range with the jab, and then once you've found the range with the jab, then you can look to move in closer to throw mid-range or short range shots. The last mistake you're probably making, if you're not making the first two and you still can't get into range to land your shots, is probably that your feet are just too uncoordinated and slow to get you there quick enough to get your punches off and then get back out of range. Introducing creeping, right? Now, if you've ever watched elite level boxers, they're on the edge of range. They're like in range and out of range, like constantly changing like this. And creeping is slowly edging your way into range before you figure out that you're just in range to throw those punches. Then as soon as you know you're in range, then you get those punches off, right? So creeping is how you're going to deceptively get into range. You can do that several ways. You can do that by using your hands, moving your hands like this. As you come forward, you're using your hands as a distraction, you're feinting, and this will take away from the fact that your opponent won't notice you getting closer range if they're thinking about or they're watching your hands as much. You can also use your lead foot to get further into range without moving your head forwards. So you keep your weight back like this, and you just bring your lead foot closer and closer. Because even if you do, once your lead foot is close enough in, you can move your head forward to throw a shot, and then you can lean back again. You can get straight out of range. So get your lead foot in closer. That's the first one. You can also do the same with the back foot. You can bring your back foot in without moving your head forward. So I'm in my stance here. My head doesn't move forward, but I brought my back foot in. And this puts me in a position to be able to step in as I throw punches. So I can close the range really quickly if I get my back foot in first and then throw punches off of that, as opposed to bringing my feet in as I'm throwing punches. The next thing you can do is use your lead hand to measure the range so you know how far away they are before you land your punches. For example, I can creep with my feet in and out of range, and I can just be touching with my lead hand like this, trying to figure out whereabouts he is. And once I know I'm in range by just touching, or even just touching the gloves, if my hand's not fully extended, I'm touching the gloves, I know that I'm going to be able to land shots. So as soon as I'm in this sort of range here, I'm touching his gloves with a bent arm, or I can touch his head, then I know that I can throw punches and get away with it. So I'm trying to just manage staying on the edge of range, moving my feet slightly in and out, making small adjustments, because those little adjustments is also what's going to help me defend their attacks. Because if I'm constantly moving in and out of range, there's going to be times where I'm moving in and out of range. As I move out, he's throwing punches and I made him miss. So Evander Holyfield did this really well. He'd like bounce on the edge of range and make his opponent throw punches, and then he'd anticipate those punches and set up counter attacks.
What's that look like?
So like this. Like that, bouncing in and out on the edge of range, making them throw punches, thinking they're going to counter your punches, and then stepping out as they throw, stepping back in after, and exploiting the opening. Jesus, see that shoulder roll? So to summarize then, make sure we're not making any of the mistakes, i.e. leaving our feet behind, bringing our head into range when we're throwing punches. We're not reaching for the punch. We're making sure we rotate them out, getting the same range whilst keeping our feet underneath us. We're also not jumping really far out of range, wasting loads of energy, or smothering our work by closing the range too quickly. We also want to make sure our feet are fast enough and coordinated enough to get into range, get off our shots, and then get out of range. And then we want to make sure we're creeping into range. So we're adjusting out, making small adjustments to our feet, distracting them with our hands. We can move our feet in individually whilst keeping our head in the same place so they don't see our head come forward, but our feet are actually closer, whether that's our front foot or it's our back foot without moving our head further. And that way we can push off and we can throw attacks that they won't be expecting. And get used to dancing on the edge of range, like that Evander Holyfield example where he's baiting them to throw a shot by just being on the edge of range, waiting for them to counter your shot, moving out the way of their anticipated counter, and then countering them as you step forward. Hope this video helped you understand. If you enjoyed this video, then that's the end of the video. No, what, how do you even do an outro nowadays?
Just say bye.
Thanks for watching, bye.